Tongan countryman Katorka Homputada Nipnoi. I must speak in English, but I will speak very, very slowly if I can. I'm Australian, we tend to speak a little bit quicker. But look, welcome everybody. I think the first thing that I'd like to say is that it's very exciting to see so many people in one room who are really leveraging our platform, who are sort of utilising the Android ecosystem to build businesses, utilising the Android ecosystem to do amazing things and to really create great experiences for users. To talk to you about what we're going to cover, I'm not an Android developer, I'm not an Android expert, so I'm going to hand to Kun Bok to go through some of the back-end development updates for Android. What I want to talk to you about, first of all, is the evolution of Android. It's been an amazing journey, it's been an amazing story for Android over the last 10 years or so. So I want to share with you, first of all, where we've come from and where we are today in terms of some of the numbers that are cutting across the platform. The second thing I want to do is just provide a couple of really top-line updates with regard to our latest release in Nougat. So I'm going to spend 15 or 20 minutes covering these, and then, as I say, I'll hand to Kun Bok, who will go into some of the back-end updates. And then obviously we have a lot of technical experts from all around the world to spend some time going in to the platform in much more depth. So the Android story, we launched, we didn't launch, Android Keynote in 2007 prior to being acquired by Google. 2 years later, there was the first commercial release. And we've had 10 different iterations since then, but I guess the one thing that we call out is it's a 10-year anniversary, right? This is a big moment in tech, 10 years in existence, and we've achieved a lot of scale. So if I think about all the different releases, all the different improvements, all the different developments that we've made, we've run from Donut in 2009, Eclair, Froyo, all the way to Marshmallow, and now where we stand with Nougat. And the numbers that cut behind the platform are immense. So I guess the headline number is that we have 1.4 billion 30-day active users across Android. 1.4 billion, obviously achieving that scale in the space of around a decade. But this growth, the growth that we're experiencing is also quite dramatic. 1.4 billion is a very, very large base, but what we're seeing is 1.5 million new Android activations every single day. So clearly the platform is growing, usage is growing, and there's a lot of headroom as we look at not just mobile OS, but a range of other form factors that we'll talk about in a second. But this raises the question, how do we get there? Now, outside of the product, outside of usability, so on and so forth, I guess the answer is that we have great partnerships. We've partnered with over 400 OEMs who are actually developing for Android today. We have over 500 carrier partnerships. So these deep partnerships, very meaningful partnerships, have allowed us to bring Android to the world. So I'm going to have to remove my glasses here. I can't see a thing with these lights. So what does that look like in terms of Android share of the smartphone market? Right, so we're going to look at some third-party data now. This is from StatCounter. The Android OS, from a smartphone standpoint, is around 86.8% of the smartphone market. This, sort of differs to iOS, is around 12.5%, and then Windows around 1%. As we look at Thailand, it's pretty similar. So we're looking at Catalyst data here, Android 87%, iOS 12%, Microsoft, less than 1%. So clearly we have a very, very significant share within the mobile space, within the mobile OS space. Users love the OS, we have great partnerships, and we've established a really good position. But it's not just about mobile. There's a range of other form factors that we've rolled out with regard to Android, whether it be wearables, whether it be Android TV, whether it be auto, and we'll talk a little bit about IoT with Android Things, in about 10 minutes or so. But what does this mean for developers? If I think about the numbers that, are being projected for 2017, the numbers are absolutely massive. If we look at gross mobile app spend, including sort of app store spend and advertising, App Annie is suggesting that 2017 is a $166 billion USD opportunity. Now, to put that in context, the advertising industry as a whole is somewhere between sort of $400 and $500 billion. Now, this is obviously not just advertising, but clearly $166 billion is a very, very large opportunity, for all developers and many of you in the room. Now, if we think about, Google Play and how we're trying to play into this opportunity, it really becomes about how do we actually enable developers of all sizes, large right down to very, very small. How do we help you really plug into the platform and have amazing success? And it's pretty clear that we've been successful in achieving this, right? Like if you think about some of these numbers, we have over 1 billion 30-day active users in Google Play. So within the Android ecosystem, looking particularly at Google Play. We have over 1 million apps available. We've seen 65 billion app installs. So clearly there's many, many developers that are building very successful businesses at a global scale, worldwide, across Google Play. So that really sort of, feeds into what are we doing to really maximize success? There's a couple of things. We're obviously really, really committed to improving this over time. It's getting dark up here, mood lighting. So we're trying to improve this over time. If we're thinking about some of the innovations around localization, targeting options, app and user analytics, all of these different innovations are geared towards helping our developers of all sizes reach new users and succeed. So moving on from, I guess, the evolution of Android, I just want to sort of, spend about 5 or 10 minutes talking about some of the updates across Nougat specifically. If I think about, the release last year, and a lot of this was announced at I/O in 2016, a lot of the, I guess, focus was around, performance, productivity, and security, like really solidifying the Android platform. From a user point of view, battery and data saving was a huge focus to increase our user experience. From a developer point of view, APIs, once again, around battery and data saving, very, very key. Plus, if I'm thinking about sort of, smart and bundle notification APIs, it sort of allows our developers to more intuitively and in a new way sort of engage their customers and their users, to bring them back into their apps and speak to them with proactive notifications in a way that wasn't quite possible before. But it wasn't just about, sort of productivity, it wasn't just about security and solidifying the platform. We didn't forget user experience. So if I think about some of the innovations there, we've launched Daydream, or built-in Daydream into the Nougat interface, into the Nougat release for the very, very first time. And Daydream is obviously our virtual reality platform. Now, it's probably important to sort of call out that this is not available in Thailand right now. So, with regard to Daydream, from an SDK standpoint, the product is not necessarily ready for Thailand, but we really wanted to call it out because for all developers that are thinking about, really reaching global audiences, they're thinking about sort of building at a global scale. This is ready. If I think about Pixel, it's enabled already. And all Daydream-enabled devices will be able to, sort of have these virtual reality experiences, as we stand here today. We're also enabling Google Play from a virtual reality point of view as well, so people can shop, purchase, and install immersed in virtual reality. So what does this mean for developers? For us, it means that, the opportunity to look at a completely new genre of apps has now emerged. If I think about, gaming, there's incredible opportunities to bring like an overall, much more sort of deeply immersed sensory experience to the gaming ecosystem. How do you provide gamers with a much more engaging, with a much, more, I guess, deeper experience that goes further than the two-dimensional ecosystem or two-dimensional experience that they would have today? If I think about travel and education, how do you bring realistic experiences? to people, as opposed to, as I said before, the two-dimensional experiences that they would have at the moment. So with creativity and innovation, we truly believe, the opportunities are limitless, and we're very, very excited to see what developers can really bring to the table with regard to VR. And I guess to sweeten the deal, what we've done is we've really brought forward, the current monetization model and applied it to Daydream. So Daydream is launched, with a VR IOP from day one. So as I said, whether you have an app freemium, premium, somewhere in between, you can bring your content, your business to VR, and we're incredibly excited to see, what developers can achieve as a result. From a technical point of view, really quickly, there's 3 SDKs that are available: NDK, Unreal, and Unity. So if you're thinking about, C++, Java, it's NDK. If you're thinking about gaming, it's very much about Unreal or Engine, Unreal or Unity. And we feel like there'd be a seamless integration, with your current work across these two particular SDKs. A quick update on Android Wear. So I talked a little bit about some of the other form factors that we've been rolling out over time. I think Android Wear, from a 2.0 perspective, there was a preview at I/O in 2016. But I just wanted to sort of give a quick update. This has been fully launched as of February 8th. And I won't spend too much time, but I will just quickly call out. We have 4,000 apps and 12 manufacturers that are currently utilising, so momentum is growing. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is Android Things. I'm not sure if you can see all of the slide here. But Android Things is really about sort of extending beyond the form factors that we've already catered for. We talked about Android TV, we talked about wearables, auto. Android Things, is really about extending the platform beyond, and it's built around, IoT and embedded devices. So it really addresses sort of 3 key challenges, or at least trying to address three key challenges. Firstly, if we think about, sort of smaller developers, even mid-sized developers, there's huge resources that are really tied up in building stable software with the necessary features. Secondly, security is really tough. Scale of IoT means, getting it right from the very, very start. And we're trying to solve for this issue as well. And then thirdly, scaling production volumes is cost prohibitive for many small or mid-sized developers. And Android Things is really trying to help overcome some of these challenges. So the last thing that I'll leave you with is that, there's already scale behind this. Something in the vicinity of 5 million developers, IoT developers, and we believe that this will probably double, before we reach 2020. So with that, hopefully that's, an interesting update as to, our evolution and where we stand with regard to some of the numbers that are cutting across the platform, and also with regard to Nougat. And I will hand over to Kun Bok, who will spend a bit more time going over the technical side, or the back-end side of the Android discussion.
Very good morning to everyone. How's everyone feeling today? Good? You had breakfast? Yeah. Right? Shake it up a little bit. So my name is Bok. I'm from the Google Developer Relations team. I'm the region lead for Thailand. I'm based out of Singapore, so every time I come to Thailand, really excited to be here. Talk about the good food, but it's also a lot of the passionate developers that I've seen, like yourself, who's really eager to learn new things. So Ben has sort of given a very good background into how the Android platform has evolved over the years. Now we understand that, as the Android platform evolved from a developer standpoint, things are going to get more complicated. Now why is that so? You now have to cater and develop for multiple different devices. As Android mobile developers, one of the things that you have to constantly struggle with is the usage of different SDKs. You got to basically juggle and understand and learn all these different SDKs so that you'll be able to achieve some app success while you develop your app. So one of the things I want to talk about, just spend a couple of minutes just to talk about today, is Firebase. Now, who has heard of Firebase in the crowd? Please. Obviously, some of you guys have heard it. Okay, so Firebase, essentially when we think about Firebase, what we want to do was to deliver a backend as a service platform that allows mobile developers not to focus on too much time on developing the backend services that your mobile apps need. Right? Remember, the key here is to free up time so that you can focus on innovating on your mobile apps. Right? We acquired Firebase 3 years ago. At that point of time, Firebase was a small startup in San Francisco with only 3 features. Right? And those 3 features were so interesting that we decided, hey, I think we can expand this a little bit further. Right? So in I/O 2016, right, what we did was that we acquired Firebase and we announced a new version of Firebase to the world with an extended set of features. Right? And from that time onwards, we have seen an uptick of active developers developing on the platform. I'll be touching on some of the features on a very high level in the next few slides. But I just want to call out that ever since it was being introduced, we have seen an uptick of 450,000 developers actively developing on the platform. And while they're developing, they are also channeling feedback, telling us how we can improve. And I'll touch a little bit about some of the exciting new features that we introduced in Firebase just 2 weeks ago. So this is Firebase in the new world. Right? From 3 features ever since we acquired Firebase, we grew it up to 15 features. Right? And we categorize them into 3 pillars: develop, grow, and earn. Now those are the key phases as mobile app developers that need to be concentrating on those 3 pillars in order to be able to achieve some form of app success. In the develop pillars, we have a couple of features which is like real-time database, authentication, hosting, storage, so on and so forth. We realize those are the things that developers often have to struggle with, often have to build custom solutions, or juggle with various different SDKs, just to be able to incorporate some form of real-timeness in their app, some form of authentication support in their app. So we took that away and built it into the Firebase platform. Right? There are sessions on Firebase later on in Droidcon, so I fully encourage you guys to check them out. Right? And you'll see how easy it is to be able to build real-time applications and support all the IT providers, most of the IT providers out there in the market today. Under the App Quality Service bucket, right, we have test lab and crash reporting. And we understand that Android has various different versions. In today's modern world, you not only have to deal with the fact that you're developing from one OS, you also have to deal with the fact that you're developing from multiple different OSs, like iOS as well. So for TestLab, currently it's only supporting Android, but the vision of TestLab is that you do not have to buy multiple different devices and physically test your application on every single one. Now, if any of you are interested to do that, please come up to me and talk to me. I have a bunch of Android devices that I most probably want to sell to you guys. So look me up after this session. But the vision of TestLab is that you don't have to do that. Right? You can now test on the cloud. Right? TestLab is fully on the cloud. We deploy your app, it goes up to the cloud, and then you can indicate which version you want to test, and off you go. It automates your test so that it frees up time for you to focus on other things. And crash reporting, that's very crucial, right? You're able to get feedback on what happens to your app, what kind of user interaction that causes the app to crash, and also on what version the crash actually happened. Under the pillar of grow, we have features like dynamic links and invites that allows you to easily grow your user base. And all of this is integrated into AdWords. Right? So if you are using AdWords now to acquire new users, all these features in Firebase is fully integrated, so you can use Firebase to extend the wholesomeness of your campaign in AdWords. And re-engagement, we have support for notification ad indexing as well. Earn is very simple. After all the hard work that you guys put into developing your app, you want to be able to monetize it. And that's where Earn comes in. Firebase has a deep integration with AdMob. And what this means is that with Firebase SDK, you can easily integrate and display ads to monetize your app when you deploy into the App Store without using a separate AdMob SDK. Right? So just to recap, the vision here is to cut down the number of SDKs and provide you with the key features so that you can build, grow, and earn, and achieve app success through Firebase. And in the center of it all is an analytical suite. This is the first time that we roll out an app-centric analytical suite that gives you data and insights into how your app is performing. As soon as you integrate Firebase SDK into your app, you'll be able to get data like this out of the box without even coding much. Right? And all these insights are very powerful for you to make informed decisions of how you want to grow your app, what features you want to include, what features you need to remove. Right? And all this are available to you guys for free. So Firebase Analytics is a free app-centric analytical platform available to you through Firebase. Now we as Google, we know something. We have been in this space for a long time, and we know that in order to kind of provide the platform that developers are able to continuously build on, we need to continuously improve. Right? And our approach is that we open up to collaboration and we open up to integration with some of the other players out there that's really done an amazing job and might be years ahead of us. Therefore, in January, we announced an acquisition of Fabric. Right? If you guys are familiar with Fabric, Fabric is an excellent mobile platform that does some of the things that Firebase has set out to do. Right? Since Fabric has already the foundation built, we figured it makes sense for us to work together. So Fabric has officially joined Google, and they are now part of the Google Developer Product Groups, working very closely with Firebase, the Firebase team. And integration has started. So look out for announcement on how both of these products comes together to give you a more wholesome offering in terms of what the platform can provide in the realms of analytics and also crash reporting. So just to recap, this is how Firebase looks like in the new world. There's 15 features. You don't have to use all of them. Just pick and choose whichever makes sense to you, and go ahead and do your app. Especially in today, remember, just go through those sessions that talk a little bit more about Firebase, just to get a bit of understanding about what it's all about and how you can actually integrate it into Android app. So a list of partners has also joined us ever since we rolled out Firebase. Partners like Asus, Booking.com, Wattpad. Some of these partners have joined us from a very, very long time, very early stage, and have been actively developing on Firebase. But I'm also very excited to say that we have partners in Thailand as well who have used and adopted Firebase, right? So some of these apps might be familiar to you. These are Thailand homegrown apps. You have SuperScore, Scuda, and TrueID, which is actively using Firebase right now. So we didn't stop there. After rolling out 15 features, the team just kept going. Right? And 2 weeks ago in San Francisco, we announced a tighter integration with Google Cloud Platform in the Google Cloud Next conference in San Francisco. Now, one of some of the things that we integrated was something called Cloud Functions for Firebase. Now, if you are a mobile developer, right, one of the items you have to focus on is developing backend services. Services that enrich your apps, services that your app needs in order to provide basic functionalities. And we want to make that process as easy as possible so that you focus on your mobile apps. And that is Cloud Functions for Firebase, which is tightly integrated into Google Cloud Functions. Now, out of the box, Cloud Functions support and integrate with Firebase Storage, Firebase Real-Time DB, and Firebase Authentication. What this means is that you're able to write rules that trigger your functions. Right? When something happens, if you upload an image to the server through Firebase Storage, you can trigger a function that resizes that image. When the user logs in through Firebase Authentication, you are able to maybe derive new information of the user and push it down to him, as well as real-time DB. Right? When something happens on the real-time database, you're able to trigger a function as well. So Cloud Functions for Firebase beta is officially available to all developers for today, and I strongly encourage you guys to check it out. So we talked a little bit about the past, the history. Right? Ben has given us the whole context of Android, how it started, how it came about. We talked about what tools we have for you guys on the back end to be able to develop services that your mobile apps uses. Now I just want to spend 1 or 2 slides to talk about the future. Now just a couple of months ago, we had a press conference and we announced a slew of made by Google products. The Pixel phones, the home, and so on and so forth, right? And one of the team that our CEO, Mr. Sundar, has kind of like introduced is mobile first to AI first. In the past 10 years, we as developers have focused on making a mark in the mobile industry, whether it's developing awesome apps or developing awesome web mobile apps, right? We have spent the last 10 years trying to solidify that model, and I think we have achieved some success today. So what's next, right? And Mr. Sundar sort of spoke a little bit about transitioning from a mobile first to an AI first world, where your apps now not only passively push you information, but it's able to be a part of your daily life, be a part of the conversation that you have going, right, to get things done. We are in an era where information is so explosive that you have to deal with various different sets of data, information, right? And that's where it is important to start thinking about AI first, right? Start thinking about how your app can actually proactively push out information, activate some services, understand the user context, understand the time, understand the user's location, and then kind of like, help the user to get past your his or her daily life by introducing machine learning. In order to do that, in the first TensorFlow Summit in Mountain a few months ago, we introduced and rolled out and announced officially the TensorFlow SDK 1.0. TensorFlow has been in the community for a long time now. It is community driven, it's an open source project. The GitHub repository is one of the highest and the most active repository in GitHub, with a lot of amazing, intelligent mind contributing and building it up, right? And we are very excited to announce that it reached a stage where we can call it 1.0. And what this means is that it's now an industrial-grade machine learning framework or library or whatever you guys want to call it, right? And this is very exciting because you can now use TensorFlow for Android apps, right? It's supported out of the box. You can actually use it to introduce machine learning into your mobile apps, make it smart, make it AI-driven as you transition into the AI-first world, right? I'm very excited to see what amazing apps that you guys will build with TensorFlow for Android. So with that, I just want to leave the note of saying that today is a jam-packed full of agenda of sessions from Android, from VR, Daydream, into Firebase. There's also a TensorFlow session as well. So do stick around. It's a 2 full day of amazing activities. Right? And that's basically what I have to share with you guys today. With that, I want to bring up Ben back to the stage so that he will close out the keynote. And thank you so much for being an awesome audience.
The evolution of the Android platform, a few updates as it stands with Nougat, and then some updates from a back-end point of view that were useful. Look, I just wanted to sort of close off by saying, we truly believe it's an incredibly exciting time to be a developer. The opportunities are endless. Truly limitless, bringing sort of creativity and innovation to the table. And I just wanted to sort of close off by saying, thanks so much to Kun O, the GDE community, for putting this event together. It's clearly of great interest to many, many people, and it's fantastic to see so many people here, in Thailand, as I said at the very beginning, sort of actively engaging in the Android platform and really sort of utilizing it to build businesses and improve consumer and user experiences. So thanks again, guys, and I hope you enjoy the next couple of days.